guys, welcome to my channel Vinyl Beauty, or welcome back. I'm Debbie if you don't know me. So I'm super excited for today's video. I've got the new Arttitude Cosmetics Maneater Untamed palette to try out, which will be my first time trying the brand as well. And also I've got the brushes from Singe Beauty, from Angelica's new brand, to try out, and I thought perfect opportunity whilst I'm trying out an eyeshadow palette to give these a spin as well. So if you want to see how the brushes perform and my first impressions on the Arttitude Maneater Untamed palette, please keep on watching. Okay, so I've brought you in a little bit closer. I'm going to show you the palette packaging close up. This is the outer cardboard sleeve, and you've got like a cutout here, like the packaging has been clawed by a tiger or something. I really think that's so cool. So this is the cover art from the palette, and it's just beautiful. I love like the half tiger face, half human face, and how it's blended together. The palette's super slim as well, which I like, but it still feels quality, you know. And then you do have a mirror inside, and then these are the shades. And I think this is the best colour story that Arttitude have ever done. It's so, so beautiful. As I say, I've never been tempted really to pick up a palette before, but as soon as I saw this one, just the mix of the greens, but then there's a black, there's a shimmery kind of iridescent white to green highlighty kind of shade in there. There's a mix of foils, kind of subtle duochromes in there, standard shimmers and mattes, and you've got half matte to half shimmer ratio. I love how it goes light to dark, and just a beautiful, beautiful colour story. This is right up my street. I love kind of neutrals with a twist. This is quite neutral, but you've got those pops in there as well. I think it's gorgeous. So if you don't know, Arttitude Cosmetics are a UK based indie brand. That always makes me happy to support a UK based indie brand, and the price for the palette was £28.99, which I thought was an incredible price for the quality. I can see already that I'm going to like these shimmers because they're pressed shimmers, kind of a bit more like the traditional shimmers that I always talk about loving. You know, they're not those putty-like shimmers or poured shimmers, they're proper shimmers. So I'm very, very excited about this palette. Okay, and then the brushes are just beautiful. I'm really excited to be using these. There's a lot of smaller shapes in there. There's a packing brush, there's a fluffy blending brush. You'll get to see them in action because I'm going to try and use all of them in this look, but they feel really nice quality. They were pretty expensive really, I think, for 5 brushes. Cost me £61 with the conversion rate and getting them, you know, shipped to the UK. But I haven't bought any quality brushes ever really. I'm not somebody that owns Refa brushes or Sonia G or Wayne Goss or anything like that. The dearest I've got are probably either my Linda Hallberg brushes, which are brilliant, or my Sigma brushes, which are falling apart, if I'm honest. All of the wood, like the paint is coming off the wood on those. So I'm excited to have some brand new ones and shapes and sizes that are perfect for somebody that loves colour as much as I do, because there's lots of small shaped crease brushes that you can really get the detail going. So very excited with these. Okay, so for my first look with the palette then, I'm really excited because this is such a beautiful colour story. I know I definitely want to use Bengal, so this one here, because it's just gorgeous, and I don't think you can show how gorgeous it is just by looking at it in the pan there, so I definitely want to use that on the eyes. And I want orange in the upper crease, fading out into yellow, I think, deepened up with either the black or the brown, and then a grungy green lower lash line. That's my plan for this look. So I think to start off the look, I'll just get something on my lower lash line so that I've got kind of a shape. So I'm going to go in with Mars by Urban Decay, going to put that in my waterline and on my lower lash line and smudge that out. I'm not going to use one of Angelica's brushes for that because I want to use those for shadow. So I'm just using a Spectrum brush here. Alright, I'm going to start off with the shade Beast here. Picking that up on the Singe E04, which this isn't the purpose for which the brush is intended according to the little guide that came with the brushes. This is supposed to be more for, I don't know, blending out your lash line or whatever, but I like a brush that's flat like this for my outer corner if I'm going in with the deepest shade first. And Angelica doesn't often go in with her deepest shade first, so that's probably why she's not saying it's for this purpose. But for me, this is the perfect shape and size for doing that. That's a lovely pigmented brown. I'm really excited about this palette. The brand has had 4 eyeshadow palettes, and there's a really colourful one, the Colour Splash. I think there was one called VIP. Then there was a Phoenix palette, which was beautiful. Almost got me, that one did. But a little bit too large of a palette for me, and it just didn't tempt me quite enough. But the promo pictures for the palette were amazing. She always has like a video shoot for the palettes, and I was almost tempted at that point, to be honest. But then I followed the brand, and then out of the blue, Rex, the owner, contacted me and asked me if I wanted to be a brand ambassador. Now, I never get anyone offer me PR. And if you've been here before, I'm just going to bring this colour all the way through the crease using the tip of this brush. If you've been here before, you will know that I don't do PR or don't accept PR, because this channel is a hobby for me, and I don't always have time to create content in a timely fashion because I work full time, and I don't want the pressure of anyone's expectations on me to create content with something that they've sent to me, which, you know, it costs small indie brands money to send out product, and I just felt like I couldn't do the brand justice. So I said no to the PR. And then this palette was announced, and I was regretting my decision, but I said to Rex that I promise as soon as there's a palette comes out that speaks to me, I will buy it. And so that's what I've done. Made good on my promise, but I would only buy something that I'm interested in, because it's my makeup collection and my money, and I've always wanted to do my reviews based on the same experience that you guys have, you know. So you guys are buying palettes. It's easy to recommend something if you're not buying it with your own money and you're moving on to the next palette that you're then going to recommend everybody must run and buy, you know. But if you've spent your money on it, that's a different thing. So, you know, I get to see what the shipping is like, which was really good for this palette. Came super fast, and I didn't choose the quickest shipping option either. I used my friend Kerry's code. There are codes out there. I'll leave Kerry's code in the description. But as I say, I've got no codes and no affiliation to any brands. Alright, gone super heavy with that. And now I need to fluff around the edges of it so that I can add the orange shade. So I'm just going to use, which brush is this one? This one's the EO2. Just going to use that just to diffuse out that brown a little bit. But that, you must agree, is a very pigmented brown. I won't need to go in with the black, but I am glad there is a black. I'm always happy when there's a black in a palette, particularly if the palette is this kind of size. I think there's definitely room for a black in a palette this size, and it makes a great deepener for any shade really. They've got a split it palette which is like hydroliners as well. That looks super nice. I was tempted to pick that up at the same time as this, but decided to be sensible because I've bought a hell of a lot of things this month. Had a bit of a personal triumph and paid off my mortgage, which means I've got a bit of cash to spare now. And when you have a life event like that, it's good to treat yourself. And you know, we've scrimped and saved for years really, so just wanted to buy some makeup. So you'll see a lot of new things on my channel for the next month or so that I'm waiting to come from the States or from Monolith, and I don't regret any of it. I'm so excited because I hardly bought anything last year really. I'm going to do the lower lash line, finish that off before I move on to the orange shade and start blending outwards. So I'm going to use Nocturnal over the top of that Mars pencil and blend it out with Camouflage. So for Nocturnal, I'm just going to use that Spectrum brush that I blended out the shade with, just to pack that over that pencil. I really wanted an intense lower lash for this look. I'm leaving the very inner part of my lower lash line blank though. Yes, I won't spoil the surprise with what palettes I've bought, but I've bought quite a lot of older things, actually things that came out last year that I think most of you will own. Nothing really super new, but they'll be new to me and I'm really excited for them. And I think that's the thing with not buying as much. When you do get to treat yourself, it's special. So So that I can keep the Singe brushes for my upper lids, I'm going to use a different brush for my lower. So I'm going to go into Camouflage now. That's a beautiful olivey green. I'm going to take that. That's my smoking out shade on my lower lash line. I'm connecting in this outer corner. Colour's looking very swampy and dark and deep. I love that you can see the gradient of both those colours. I haven't just like blended into one. You can definitely see the gradient of the two, and it looks super, super pretty. So the next shade I want to go in with is Tiger. I'm going to use the EO5 brush to apply it. And I'm going to take that all the way around the edges of that beige shade that we've already laid down. I like this brush because it's super small and detailed but still fluffy. I'm going over that brown shade, kind of about 50% over that beige shade that we laid down. Just get a really nice blend between the two. These are blending so easily as well. The brushes feel like super soft, super luxurious. And I don't find synthetic brushes do a great job of blending normally, but these are blending really nicely. And then the last shade I'm going to use is Siberian, so this one here. Taking that on the EO2. Just taking a little bit of that just around the edges of that orange, and it's just lightening it up a little. I love the gradient of like brown to orange to yellow that we've got going on. With the EO3, which is the biggest brush in the set, just going to use that just to fluff around the edges. This isn't the sort of brush I use very often, but maybe I should so that I can get a bit more of a diffused blend. That one's super soft and it allows you to go in with a very light touch to blend, so you're not losing the colour. I'm loving these brushes, and if you couldn't tell. Right, I'm going to apply glitter primer all over my lids, all the way out to where the brown is, because I do want to try and put a couple of shimmers on the lid. I know a lot of people use the same brush for their glitter glue as they do to then put in the pan, but I'm always worried that's going to mess up the eyeshadow long term if you're sticking a sticky brush into those eyeshadow pans. So I tend to apply the glitter primer with one brush and then the shadows with a different one. Going slightly higher than my natural crease line here. There's plenty of room for those shimmers. These brushes were great from Kaleidos Makeup. I don't know why they stopped doing brushes, because these were really, really nice brushes. So taking the EO1 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Endangered, and that's going to go on the outer part here, and then I'm going to fade into Bengal, which is this one here. That's picking up so well on the brush. It's beautiful. Look how reflective that shimmer is. This is how to do shimmers. That is a stunning shimmer. Next shade I'm going into is Bengal, so this one here. I'm just going to flip the brush over and use the same brush. And I wanted that to be the star of the show because it is stunning. So, so reflective. I think this is my favourite shade in the palette. I love a coppery sort of colour, but this is unlike any other shade I've got. It's almost like an orange copper, very fiery looking shade. Taking that right into the corner of my eye and up a little bit high, and I'm trying to use the tip of this brush because it is tapered into a tip, which does really help with the precision to get that kind of cut crease effect on the front here. Just going to smush between those two shades where they meet. Take a bit of Endangered and go backwards and forwards. And they're fading into each other super nicely. So I'm just going to repeat the same steps on the other eye. And for my inner corners, I'm going to go in with this shade here called Claws. I'm just going to pop that in the inner corner and onto the lower lash line just slightly. That's beautiful as well. Not quite as high intensity as the shades on the lid, but it is acting as a brightening shade, which is what I wanted here. Where that's meeting the green mattes here, I'm just going to pop a little bit more of Endangered there, just so we've just got that little glint on the lower lash as well. Okay, so that's the look to this point. Just going to hop off camera for some finishing touches, and I'll be back with you with the final look and some more thoughts on the palette so far. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I really love how it's turned out. It's neutral, yes, but it's got something special about it. That high shine from that Bengal shade on my lids is just glinting there and just like reflecting, and it's just gorgeous. Finished off the look with an Illamasqua gel liner wing, which is what I quite often do to finish off a look. It's a very baby wing for me today, but wings like that just help to hide the join between the mattes and the shimmers and just give us a bit more of a shape to my eyes. I love the shape of a wing anyway. And then for lips today, I've gone in with a combo. I've got MAC's Sugar Dada, and then I've topped it off with a gloss today, which is in the shade Grapefruit Shimmer. It's a No. 7 High Shine Lip Gloss. So the palette then, well, I've only used 5 mattes and 3 of the shimmers. So I've used 8 shades, which isn't too bad going for one look to make it a cohesive look. But the star of the show for me are, well, it's probably those 4 shades really. So Bengal, Maneater, Predator and Endangered. You can just tell that they're going to be the ultra reflective foil shades, but obviously I've got experience now of using Maneater and Bengal, and they pick up like so easily on a brush, but there's not even one like sign that they're going to hard pan. They're perfect still. Those brushes really help because they pick up products so nicely and disperse it so well as well. But really impressed with those shades. There's a mix of finishes in here. There's some sort of bit more traditional shimmers. There's some more, a bit more transparent kind of topper shades like this one up here with Untamed. But the mattes that I used, you saw how pigmented that Beast shade was. Packing that just as a packing motion, got ultra pigment from it, but no fallout whatsoever. I was able to blend it really easily. I love these 2 shades with it together as well. I just thought they just give like almost a sunset vibe, but with neutrals. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with my purchase. I love it. I love that camouflage shade because I always love a grungy army green anyway. Yeah, I've not one bad thing to say about it, to be honest, so far. I really need to dip into some different colours in this palette. Perhaps use that carnivore shade and maybe that shade on the lids. That combo is always a beautiful combo together, I think. And I can't wait to try Predator as well. Would you guys like to see another couple of looks video with this one? I could maybe do 2 more looks. I've got, as I say, a lot of palettes coming, but if you want to see some more looks with this one, I'm eager to play with it more anyway. So let me know down below if you're interested in seeing that. Whilst I was just applying my eyeliner, I thought, I've seen some of these shades or very similar before. And then it reminded me of this palette, which is the Safari Rain by Coloured Rain. This is a fabulous palette. Don't know if you guys might remember it. But that shade Bengal, it's almost as if Tigress and Toucan, those 2 shades here, had a baby. It's basically those sort of shades. These are my kind of shimmers, that ultra reflective shimmer that's easy to pick up on a brush. So if you don't have the Arttitude palette and you still have this one in your collection, you could probably create something reasonably similar to what I've created here using this one, to be honest. But super happy that I've tried the brand and that I've picked up this palette. I think from what I've heard, their formula has got better over time, and I've jumped in at just the right time where they're really starting to, you know, come into their own and have really great formulas in their palettes. I love the shape and size of it and the number of shades, and I love the packaging as well. So 10 out of 10 for me. I think this is such a good launch for the brand, and I think it may have sold out. They were very, very close to selling out. It launched with a brush cup with green brushes to match the theme of the palette, and some lashes. I don't do lashes, so they wouldn't interest me, but do look beautiful styles if you can wear them, and also a makeup sponge in green as well. But I'm fairly sure the brush and palette bundle is sold out, and they were very close to selling out on the eyeshadow palette. But she will be restocking, so if you're interested, just keep an eye on their socials. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun creating this one, so hope you've enjoyed watching. You'll have to let me know, did you pick up this palette? What do you think of this look? It's a little bit more on the neutral side for me, but I think it looks really nice. And yeah, I'm really starting to get into neutrals a bit more just lately, so yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new to my channel, I'd love it if you might consider subscribing before you go. Other than that, guys, hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.